Welcome to Headphone News, Greater Vancouver edition for Saturday, December 14, 2024.
Traffic incident on Port Mann Bridge. Several lanes heading east on the Port Mann Bridge in Surrey, British Columbia, are blocked due to a car accident. Drive BC, the government service for road conditions, reports that 2 lanes on Highway 1 and the left exit lane to Surrey are affected. Travelers should expect delays and consider taking detours to avoid the traffic.
Car theft incident at U.S.-Canada border. Authorities reported a car theft at the Peace Arch border crossing between Surrey, British Columbia, and Blaine, Washington. Around noon, officials from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police responded to a report of a stolen vehicle. The driver ignored commands from U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers and fled into the United States. During the chase, the driver hit another vehicle and nearly struck a border officer. Sheriffs from Whatcom County pursued the driver for about 50 kilometers. Officers used a method to stop the vehicle. The driver was arrested and found with a large knife. The accusations against the individual include serious assault and having a stolen vehicle.
BC NDP and BC Greens sign agreement. The New Democratic Party, or NDP, and the BC Green Party in British Columbia, Canada, have signed an agreement. This deal is intended to strengthen the government by allowing the NDP to focus on the Green Party's initiatives. In the recent provincial election, the NDP won 47 seats, which is the minimum required for a majority. The agreement highlights important areas such as healthcare, the environment, and housing, with clear goals for new homes and healthcare programs.
Legal hearing on coastal GasLink pipeline protests. Closing arguments have concluded in a legal hearing about 3 individuals found guilty of court contempt. This case revolves around protests against the coastal GasLink pipeline in British Columbia, Canada. The individuals blocked construction of the pipeline and claim that the Royal Canadian Mounted Police used too much force during their arrest. Justice Michael Tamman of the British Columbia Supreme Court is set to make a decision in February 2025. This situation highlights the ongoing tensions between Indigenous rights and resource development in Canada.
GST exemption in British Columbia. British Columbia, a province in Canada, is introducing a short-term break from the goods and services tax, known as GST. This exemption will be in place from December 14 to February 15. Typically, the GST is 5% on purchases like food, books, and toys. Some business owners are frustrated by the extra tasks required to manage this exemption. This initiative aims to help ease financial pressures for residents during the holiday season.
New mortgage rules in British Columbia. New mortgage rules in British Columbia, Canada, will soon be implemented. Homes worth up to 1.5 million Canadian dollars will now need mortgage insurance. Previously, homes priced over 1 million Canadian dollars required a minimum down payment of 20%. With the new regulations, buyers can make a down payment of 5% on the first 500,000 Canadian dollars and 10% on any amount above that. This change allows qualified buyers to have a down payment as low as 75,000 Canadian dollars, which is about $55,000 US. First-time homebuyers will also qualify for a 30-year mortgage. Recently, the Bank of Canada lowered interest rates by 0.50% to help boost the real estate market, which has slowed down due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Safety concerns for paramedics in Kelowna. A shocking event took place at an ambulance station in Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada. A paramedic who was washing an ambulance was attacked by a woman holding a small hunting knife. The attacker made at least 2 strikes at the paramedic but thankfully did not cause any harm. The Paramedics Union is calling for urgent safety changes due to rising violence against healthcare workers. This incident highlights the critical need for improved safety measures in emergency services.
British Columbia increases disaster relief aid. The Government of British Columbia in Canada has increased financial assistance for residents and businesses affected by severe flooding that occurred in October. Areas like Surrey, Port Moody, and Anmore can now apply for the Disaster Relief Program, which helps cover losses not paid by insurance. Applications must be submitted by March 13, 2025. The flooding caused over 110 million Canadian dollars in insurance claims for damages, which is about $82 million US. Intense rain from a weather system led to flash floods and sewage overflow.
Investment fraud case in British Columbia. Mann has been fined nearly 3.3 million Canadian dollars by the British Columbia Securities Commission. This includes a penalty of 2.5 million Canadian dollars and about 790,000 Canadian dollars taken through fraud. In total, that's around 2.4 million US dollars. Zhang tricked investors by falsely claiming to support Chinese students and tourists. The money collected will be used to reimburse those harmed by her actions.
Launch of HMCS Protecteur. A new military ship named HMCS Protecteur was launched in North Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. This ship is the first of 2 support vessels being built for the Canadian Navy. The HMCS Protecteur will be the longest ship ever made in Canada, measuring about 571 feet. The launch event occurred on December 14, 2024, and was attended by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. This new ship will supply fuel, food, water, and ammunition to other Navy ships, allowing them to stay at sea longer without needing to return to port.
Weather alerts lead to ferry cancellations in British Columbia. Environment Canada has issued several weather alerts for British Columbia, expecting strong winds and heavy rain this weekend. To prioritize traveler safety, BC Ferries has cancelled many ferry trips between Vancouver Island and the mainland. If you're planning to travel, be sure to check for travel updates before you head out.
Funding cuts for newcomer support in British Columbia. The Canadian government is cutting support for programs that assist newcomers and refugees in British Columbia. This move is part of a broader strategy to limit the number of newcomers entering Canada. Services that help newcomers settle in, such as those provided by a local employment development organization and language classes at Vancouver Community College, will be affected. These cuts could make it more challenging for many newcomers to adjust and succeed in Canadian society. That is all the news for today. Thank you for listening to today's Headphone News. News summary brought to you by AI.